It's time for an after video. An after video on the Miele complete C3 Powerline, a machine that I have assembled almost from the scrap pile that we saw before. Let's have a look at how it's come out. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner chums. How are you today? Yes, this machine was one from the pile of broken ones that Mr. James gave me. And you can see the reflection. It looks awful in my camera. I'm hoping it's a bit brighter once I put a little bit of colour correction on it. But yeah, it's really, really nice. I've not really had many S8s or C3s at the same machine, so it's quite nice to spend some time with one. And once you get used to it, they're very easy to take apart. We should probably look at that one day. But for now, this one, look, has its 3 tools inside of it, all in fairly good condition. In here we have, thank you to my generous donator, brand new filters and bags. It's all fairly clear. It didn't come up 100%. There's still a few bits of plaster dust, but it certainly looks the job. External cord rewind works-ish. You've got to put it out a bit for the comfort feature to lock. The cable pulls itself in. An absolute treat. We've also got some tools. We have the All-Tech floor tool. This is the one that fits this cleaner. The plastic base plate, look, cleaned up very nicely indeed. We have the brushes that flip down from the front, and yeah, it fits in the C3's parking slot like that. Then we have and wand and hose, which is just up here with some other bits that we need to have a look at. So one very complete Miele. Let's see how it runs. And it should run really rather well, because this has a brand new motor fitted into it. This has one of the 1600 watt motors that I had lying around, so it works fairly well, and it's very difficult to push. And that's only in there. All minimum. That was a big complaint of pretty much the entire C3 range. It's an odd complaint, but it's too powerful. I've read many reviews that have said it's too powerful, and well, it is very powerful. You see, the problem with machines of this era is that they are caught up in the unknowns of the EU energy rating changes. So you get floor tools like this that seal in the suction down the bottom. You have slightly redesigned air channels. The channel between the motor and the bag compartment has changed since the earlier models, and that does help a lot. It also means that the tools glue themselves down. Let's try it on a thinner pile. That's a lot better. But of course you can just turn the suction down to a comfortable level. Lots of bits on this carpet. So yes, while complaining about having too much suction is an complaint, it's a little bit pointless when you consider that you can turn the power up and down. And of course there's a bleed valve on the end of the wand, so not a pretty valid criticism. And that means that these machines were highly reviewed, because they are very good. They feel very flimsy, especially when apart. You can twist everything, but together it does lock into a very good machine. So there we go. But of course on the before video there were two black C3s. Yes, well the other one is here. This is the complete C3 Extreme Powerline that I had anyway. Yes, it got refurbished and looks utterly identical. If it wasn't for the fact that one says Extreme and one doesn't, you'd never know. But they're both Extreme now, because again, whilst doing a little bit of research, this Extreme was the 1600 watt model. It was sold when you could still sell 1600 watt machines, back when the rest had gone down to 1400 or 1200, where they would stay. Because obviously when the manufacturers knew that the rules would change twice, people like Pneumatic and Vax and whatnot just went straight, and Dyson went straight to the one that was going to sit. A few manufacturers did just some machines while they could, before they had to stop. So yes, that's where this came from. It would have cost you a premium for your 1600 watt motor. But now, technically, they're both Extreme editions, because they both now have 1600 watt motors in. This one has a brand new one. Certainly I have planned to have a brand new one, because this one's mine. I'm keeping this one, certainly for now. And again, we can see it has small tools. They're not in quite as good condition as the other set. They have seen some more use, but inside it's again exactly the same, kitted out with brand new bags and filters. It's just lovely really, and yeah, it's identical to the other one. I have the hose for mine. I have the wand. Actually I'll tell you all that in a minute. I have this floor tool, which is the older version of that. Doesn't fit the parking slot, but I only had one that did, so I put it with this one. I'm not too fussed. I've also got two, and it's out of shot just up there. I haven't done it yet. I've got to replace the metal base. Look, it's very broken, and I've got a much tattier one of these with a good base plate, so that will happen at some point. So I also did up my very battered Miele Fibertech. I'm sure I've got another one of these somewhere. So again, I might be able to make something of it, but it was around. I'd always quite fancied using it, and it does fit on the S8's parking bracket. In fact, I've seen pictures where they sold the S8 with this, so I think this probably was where they went after this design. Yes, I'm keeping this one, and well, it works just as well as the other one. That floor tool is very, very nice to use. Wonder how it works with some dirt though. Well, I've put together a little bit of my current mad about mess, rice, sawdust and hammer beads, and I've rubbed it into the pile. And tell you what we'll do, we'll get that floor tool, and then also, I'll just borrow it from the other C3. We should have enough width to, let's see what happens. I shall use the machine on the ear setting, the economical setting, and we'll just go forwards and backwards. Forwards. skipped across a lot. But that's not bad. What I found was as soon as it hit the hammer bees, it literally rode up them. Oh, there's one stuck there. It rode up them and skimmed across the top. So that wasn't fab. Let's see how much better the Alltech is. We're still on the ear setting. Oh, this sits down. Oh. The Alltech did do better. It didn't glide up as much onto the bees. There's certainly none stuck under there, and yeah, it did do fairly well. And if you go over it more than a couple of times, it all comes right out. But you can certainly feel that Alltech throttle sticking to the floor more than the Fibertech. But the Fibertech again with a couple of passes does just fetch it right out. Certainly very acceptable performance indeed. So yes, the two Miele C3s. I'm keeping this one. This one I've actually sold. I sold it whilst I was doing it. I was putting some pictures up on a forum that I'm on, and someone said, I've been looking for a Miele, were you selling it? So as soon as I press stop on this, I'm going to tell him it's done. That's also why I was using my one for that little demo. I spent £120 on this, and the motor cost is in there, so I've made £70 on one machine that came from scrap, has been rebuilt. It is as good as the used one that I was given, one that wasn't, well, it was scrap as you know, but it had been used fairly well until it was used by somebody on the same forum actually. This one came from AutoShite, this one's going to AutoShite. Isn't that funny? He had an emergency need to pick up some water from a very freshly laid wooden floor in a blind fitted paddock, and the Miele got taken for it, and that's why the motor was just completely trashed. Fair enough, I can't say I blame the guy. So yes, I have a C3 kicking around. This one is done and sold. We are getting through our pile of Mieles. What video's next? I have no idea, but what I do know is I and this extreme power line will see you soon. Bye bye.